Ron. Imagine waking up every day for nearly 3 months with no access to the global internet. That means no Instagram, it means no WhatsApp, no YouTube, no outside world. And that has been the reality now for 90 million people in Iran after authorities imposed one of the longest nationwide internet blackouts ever recorded during the war with Israel and the United States. Well, now, just as President Masoud Pezeshkian moves to restore access, Iran's judiciary is stepping in and suspending the very body that approved reconnecting the country to the global web. Live internet metrics now show only a partial restoration of connectivity in Iran on day 88, and it's still unclear whether that restoration is actually going to last. This is a move that is exposing growing divisions inside the Iranian leadership over control, over censorship, and ultimately what kind of digital future is awaiting the Islamic Republic. And joining us now is Dr. Sona Kazemi, assistant professor at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. First of all, I really want you to help our viewers understand the scale of this, what this has meant for the 90 million Iranians to be living through an internet blackout that has lasted nearly 3 months.
Hi, thank you, Natasha, for having me. This has really been a disaster for the Iranian people. Like you said, it's just unimaginable for someone living in the 21st century, waking up and not being able to connect to the internet. Although Iran has established its own internal internet, whatever that is supposed to mean, through internal apps that only people inside the country can use. But that doesn't mean that it has been a meaningful move towards connectivity. It's just the facade. It's just to control the dissatisfaction that people have with the whole system. And imagine how the school system has been disrupted, universities, people in the industry, in different companies, like everywhere, the people have been experiencing this disruption. And also the problem with businesses that are online businesses, how many people actually use that. And other marginalized groups, like people with disabilities, for example, whose only connection to the outside world sometimes because of inaccessibility is that access to the internet. So it has been nothing but an absolute disaster. And it looks like NetBlocks have reported that there is something around 30% connectivity today. But I'm not sure if we are going to see any improvement.
Right. Now, Iranian officials have said that these are restrictions that are necessary for so-called security during wartime. But do Iranians see this as protection or as more of a means of population control?
Absolutely a population control. I mean, this is ridiculous. This state executes a person every 3-4 hours, executes an Iranian every 3-4 hours. It has executed more than 70 people in the past 2 months. And it cannot claim any protection of people while it is actively torturing people, arresting people, and killing Iranians. So this is absolutely a means of control, especially for the information, so that the information doesn't get out about, lack of shelters, lack of, all the things that Iranian people need to have access to, and they don't because of the state failing to provide those services for them, from shelter for bombs, that in the past 2 months we have seen from other atrocities that it has been committing against the Iranian people since January 8 and 9 massacre. So it is definitely a way of policing the population and the information and controlling the narrative rather than anything else.
Now, I want to talk about the signs of disagreement that we're seeing inside the Iranian leadership itself, with the president pushing to restore internet access, or at least making it seem like he's pushing to restore internet access. Well, there are other powerful bodies within the Islamic Republic that, are clearly against this happening. How significant is this rift in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, well, this like peddling the line of reformers, hardliners, this is something that we have seen since I was in grade school, like in grade 6 when Khatami came to power. So honestly, Pezeshkian is just a puppet in the hands of the IRGC. And we know this. We have seen this over and over again It's just a worn out line.
Mhm.
Pezeshkian has no executive power, has no legislative power, has no judicial power. And it's the RGC and different factions within the RGC and other hardliner groups. Well, I say hardliner, not meaning that there's a reformist, but the DNA of the Islamic Republic is ideology, right? And so
Mhm.
Pezeshkian tries to pretend that, like there are actually some more pragmatic factions of the government, but in reality, they're all one, and there are no differences in between them.
All right. Well,
And
go ahead with
yeah,
your last sentence there.
yeah, I was trying to say that what they are trying to do is to just control the dissatisfaction and
Mhm.
discontent and the grievances that people have with them, in order to instill some fake hope within people. But people know them, and they know that this is their DNA.
All right, Dr. Sona Kazemi, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us as per usual. We're going to turn back to our guests in the studio just for some final